I gotta move over.
All right. You ladies ready?
Ready, ready.
Ready? All right, because we are live. This is Let's Just Talk with Kim. And of course, I am Kim. And I have my lovely guest with me. That is my very own Niecy Pooh. You always see her in the comments, always there supporting us and commenting. So we're just so tickled pink to have her here. And of course, we always have my girlfriend, my co-host, Tanya Berry, Mrs. Berry. How are you, darling?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you two doing?
We're doing pretty good. Yeah. So, we do these shows sometimes, people, where we just want to talk about some stuff. It'll be things going on and we just want to chit chat. Does I feel like we look like we great. Are we?
No, you don't look great to me.
Oh, okay. You don't look great in here.
No, green, red.
All right, so down here it looks good. Okay, good. So how you been, sister friend?
I've been okay. This is just a lot going on, but I'm good.
That's good. Family good. Everybody good.
Yes, everybody's good. Excuse me. I had COVID a few weeks ago, so I still have a little bit of a cough here and there, but I apologize in advance. Well, I don't have to apologize every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I got a little tickle in my voice all of a sudden, but it ain't nothing major. It's just a little tickle. That's what happens when you got allergies. But and you, Sharita, how you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing good.
You doing good? You had a good day?
Sort of, kind of.
Right.
Just the heat.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about this evening, just to get you guys in on the what's going on and get your thoughts, is what about this Roe versus Wade crap? Can you believe it's been overturned after all these years?
I believe it, yes. Because, I don't like to be political, really, but I think that the people who make the decisions often go beyond those who cast a vote one way or the other. So I don't know that I necessarily believe that it's just those, 12 Supreme Court judges or however many it is. If it's just those, no, I don't know that I necessarily believe that. We have to have faith that's how the system works. But I just feel like, I said to a lady from work the other day that I don't care which side of the political spectrum you're on. I don't care which side of the vaccine to vaccinate or not to vaccinate you're on, which side of Roe versus Wade. We all got to work out our own salvation, right? So it's up to you as an individual. That's between you and God. What I find interesting is that people who say, you will not tell me what to do with my body and make me take a vaccine, just told me what I can do with my body.
Hello.
That I have an issue with.
Say it again.
That I have an issue with.
Right, exactly. And that is the point right there. Like you feel like on this spectrum, nobody should be telling us what to do, but yet still you want to tell us what to do. See, it's only when it involves them. This is what their agenda.
But you know what? I feel like it's us as people, because sometimes Trina and I had this discussion not too long ago that, there can be something that can happen to us that may be outside of God's will. If we talk about God's perfect will and what the word tells us should or shouldn't be done, that we say, oh my goodness, the devil is busy, or look how the devil did this or did that. But if what is in our hearts was that thing that is not what God says,
right,
we'll say, well, if the Lord didn't want me to have that, he wouldn't bless me with it. You know what I mean? So I think all of us, it's just ingrained in us to support what it is that supports our own, whether you want to call it your agenda, your beliefs, your interest, whatever it is. So I think it's in all of us in some capacity, but this is like I take issue when what you believe infringes on my personal space.
Right. Right. And that's the thing that I have. Like, when it comes to, like, we're all Christians, so when it comes to our Christian beliefs and the fact about abortion in general, am I for abortion? No, I'm not, but I am for the right to choose. Because even if you think about when Jesus came, he did not force anything on anyone.
That's what I'm saying.
You had to make a choice, a decision.
God doesn't take away free will, so how dare you?
Hello. Like, whichever way you want to go, it is the woman's choice, and I do feel for some men in a certain instances where they want to keep the baby, but it's the woman's body. It is her body, and it's inside of her body, so she gets the choice. So I do have compassion for men who want to have their child, and then they're forced to go along with whatever the woman wants.
But they gotta have a great conversation. Like, they had to be on the same level a little bit. If they not, it's going to be a lot of arguments in it.
And I think often that conversation occurs after you in the thick of the situation. That's the wrong time to have
exactly.
Exactly. Wrong time to have it. Because if you on opposite ends of the spectrum, now we have a problem. Because I think it's interesting just the way things work. And often, I mean, people don't have to agree with me. It's just the way I try to see both sides of everything. So I think it's interesting that if I'm a woman I'm pregnant and I do not want to have a baby, and I make a decision. Now, granted, this is hypothetical. That's not my thing, but to each his own. I'm not trying to infringe on anybody else's right to make a choice for themselves. But let's say if I'm a woman who has made a decision, I want to have an abortion, and whether it be my husband or my boyfriend or whoever it is that you're pregnant with, but the father of this child wants to have the baby, and if they're not your husband, can't force you to have it, right? Do you? And I don't want people don't send me no like, I can't believe you think this or think that, because I mean, we all can think and feel however we want.
That's right.
So let me say that first, because it's just the way I think. So that won't change because somebody else don't like it. But I'll say this: he cannot force me to have a baby.
Right.
Do you ever think, like, to me, I find it interesting, but if I want to have a baby and he does not, he cannot force me to have an abortion. But we can force him to pay child support.
Right.
Like, I think that's an interesting conversation to have, because if he wants this baby so bad, he can't make me do it. Granted, we are all grown, so you need to make up your mind and know who it is that you making ties with. But I just think that's interesting. It's the same thing, like with the situation, whereas, if you're on one side of it at one moment, how do you flip to the other side in another moment?
And that's what we do. That's what society does, because regardless of the fact, it's your child and you're responsible, no matter how you look at it. I can't say for certain, but I don't know if a man can surrender their rights and still no longer have to pay child support. Like, I don't know how that.
I would imagine they can, because maybe, but like, wouldn't you think that there's a whole lot of people would have done that?
I know. But sometimes
and maybe they didn't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we would have known. I've never thought about that until this very moment.
I don't know. I think about stuff like, if you had to think about it from every angle. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is how I would feel for me as a woman, or me as a mother, or me as a sister, or whatever. But then, what if it was my brother Or what if it was my uncle? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I try to think of it like, wow, what if they were in that? You know what I mean?
It's so, and then your opinion may change. You know what I'm saying? Be based off of your loved one and supporting your loved one. You know, like if.
But that's the thing, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where I have a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
If what I believe is this is the right way to do it, how is it only the right way if it is a positive effect on those I love? Right is right and wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying?
But reality, it changes, because when you love someone and you see them hurting or getting hurt,
absolutely you don't want them to hurt. But it's like saying that I don't want my son or my brother to be in trouble for a certain thing.
Right.
But if that certain thing affected my daughter, would I want the young man on the other end to have to suffer or pay or whatever? So that's somebody's son too. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I think that's an interesting conversation to have with people, because you trying to figure out like how we all think. And
things change and they mold as the process go, because the example that I wanted to give, and then we can, if you want to stay on this topic, we can, or we can move to a different topic. But when you think about it, when you're not married, your child says they're pregnant, unmarried, young, teenager, sometimes even younger than a teen, preteen, you're devastated, you're angry, you're mad. You can't believe this is happening. But when that baby is born, all bets are off. You're no longer mad. You love this child. You might get mad if the responsibility falls on you more than what you anticipated. But then you love the blessing that came out of whatever the situation.
Right. And
so that's what I mean by changing tides.
And I agree with that. But for me, like, I would still say, like, if I believe premarital sex is wrong, if I believe, this child having a baby early and not being married or whatever is wrong, I will absolutely love that child and love my child and support them. That won't change my belief in what's right or wrong, or what I think is correct. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying your decision and your thoughts about the situation from what came out of it can make you change your position. Like, you're not going to forever hate the situation, or be angry about the situation, because you now have to adapt. God gave us the ability to adapt to certain circumstances, whether we agree in the beginning or not. We do have to adapt to whatever it is at this point.
And I think you can. But like with the Roe versus Wade thing, I think that you can have empathy for both sides of the situation, and still have your own clear thought or belief as to what is right or wrong. Your response to situations has to change based on your circumstance. I totally get that, but it's almost like I don't know. It seems like the way people kind of go at it in the media or in politics about these issues, like, if you think that no one should be able to tell you what to do with your body, how do what you believe, like, fundamentally shouldn't be what's wishy-washy. But then I guess that's why we not God, right?
Right. We are wishy-washy.
Yeah,
we are.
I feel like
our thinking is
flawed. I've never had to be in that situation. But what if it takes something like a young man robs a store and he's trying to feed his little sister. Their parents gone. It's just them. And he can't get a job, whatever. Everything has come against him. So he tried the right way. So he robs the place trying to get this, and say someone gets killed in the process. Maybe he had a weapon and he could have anything, shot a little kid on his way out. Oh my goodness. Now there's a big thing because you hurt a child, right? I can have empathy for that person and feel for both sides, the family of the victim, the family of the person who did it. But your belief on, you got to pay. I understand, young man, but we can't do this. This is unacceptable. Exactly. Whether it be my child who was the one who got murdered or my child, the one who committed the crime, it's wrong. If it's my child, I love you. I support you. I pray they have some, give you some grace and mercy, and that it's not the end of your life. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But baby, you have to pay you have to suffer the consequences because it's wrong. And I don't think we portray that to young people, children, the public in the way that people have handled this Roe versus Wade and vaccine, and how you can be so on one side of it. And it'd be the same type of situation, but now this doesn't further your political agenda or whatever it may be.
Right.
And like, I just feel like the kids, that's why kids be confused. Because we confused. How we gonna lead by example with
right. We can't keep our minds made up. They don't know. They just go along with it just because we're with it. And they adapt to it.
There's so much more to it than your religious beliefs. There's so much more to it than someone trying to use it for
political gain.
Political gain, but also as birth control. You know what I'm saying? But also think about, there are several medical conditions where the treatment is abortion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And now
I think on that sense,
think about
there are certain exceptions to the rule.
But are there and I don't know, like, are there, is it, because right now it's by your state, right? What your state says. Yeah. So I don't know if I've never had cause to look it up, but I wonder, like, I don't know if my state makes exceptions.
Well, I know, I'm not sure about Michigan, but I'm very happy so far that Pennsylvania has not made any changes. And I do pray that we stay and remain that way, because although I am against abortion, at the same time, I'm for a woman's right to choose.
Right.
Because of the circumstances. Let's say she was molested. Let's say she was raped.
Even though she was raped.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. They don't want that.
Or medical condition.
I'm against it.
Yeah.
I'm against it.
Did you see, there was a story, and I can't remember where it was at. I don't think it was Michigan. I can't remember if Michigan changed their law or not. I'm gonna have to look. But there was a little girl, me and Trina were talking about the other day. She's like 11. And I forgive me, don't misquote me, I'm not sure if she was raped or molested or what happened, but this 11-year-old was pregnant. You barely know how to get up every morning and wash your behind and get to school on time and do all your homework and your chores at 11, let alone be responsible for another human life. Now, I have no clue how I would feel in that situation. I'm not even going to speculate. So I'm not judging anybody who wanted the pregnancy ended or thought it was the best way. I don't want to say wanted as if it was like a happy choice or an easy choice, but whatever it was that put them at that position where they left the state to go, I think I forget where, somewhere else, to have this abortion for this 11-year-old.
They doing it.
And now they're trying to sue I think the state is trying to sue the provider or the doctor that did it, because their state is illegal. So they specifically crossed the state line just to do that. And I don't know what the legal precedent is for that, but I'm gonna have to. We were just talking about this yesterday, day before yesterday. I think
that's interesting.
And that's crazy.
That's what they've been talking about, that women would cross state lines to do it. Absolutely. So it's very, very interesting. Well, I want to just switch it. I don't want to, because that's a heavy topic. I just didn't want to not mention it, because it's definitely something that's happening real time, as well as crazy laws and things to really even do harm to women. So it's like, I don't know when society will change and have a better respect for women than they do. And it's about time that happens. I know what was the last movement? The Me Too movement started it in that role. But I think holistically, we have to really focus on the value of women and our choices. Like, because when in biblical times, we had nothing to say. And even when was it? Just 40s, 50s, something like that. They still didn't have anything to say. Like, we were, just homemakers. We never really had anything that we can really speak on until that movement. It's always a movement that has to take place. And I pray, like, if things starts to get dire, or even before it gets there, that women will come together. There's a false theory that women don't get along or women are catty with one another, and that's so false. But it's going to be a time when women stand up, and the world need to get ready, because you're taking our lives as just y'all devaluing our lives, and you're not really taking us as serious as we ought to be taken. And the world needs to get ready for that shift. And I believe there's going to be a lot of men on our side as well, because they're already on our side. So,
and I think that in any issue, it takes more than just the group that is affected by the issue to make a change. It has to be someone who has no dog in that fight, so to speak, to be able to help give it the voice or the attention that it needs. Because if it only affects a small group of people, and those who make the decision aren't really, concerned about the what's best for that group of people, nothing changes, right? But if it's when people support, like if it's, a women's issue, and every man stood up for it. If it's a gay rights issue and people who are not gay stand up, it just,
and that's what
like we've gotten to a point where it's so easy to, like, how did it get to a point where it's so easy to not care about what happens to the person next to you? Like, if something happens to my neighbor, I don't have to know them personally to feel devastated. Oh my God, I wouldn't want something horrible to happen to this person. You know what I mean? And I think we have somehow gotten away from that, just as people, period. And I don't care if it's male or female or white, black, blue, or purple. It doesn't matter. Like, we should care about our neighbor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then things, I think, are different.
That's when it comes in line of our brother's keeper. Like, we are our brother's keeper, our sister's keeper. We are to be collectively supporting one another. And I think it's always something that pushes us forward. And I'm praying that there will be another movement to push us forward, to make sure that we protect women and making sure that they are not disrespected, they are not harmed, that their rights aren't taken away from them. I just believe after this, there is going to be a movement that will propel us into that state of protecting all women. So, as always, off of the hard stuff, we did the little hard stuff. I'm going to just talk about some random questions from, my good old trusty 4,000 question book. Can you see it? Yeah, there we go. So, and I'm on the section of Outlook. I just opened the book, and that's where we are. So it has a couple of questions right at the top, and we can dive into that. It says, do you think honesty is always the best policy in all circumstances?
I do. I think that
no, it's 50-50.
I think that you can, the way you deliver it can change. But for me personally, like, speaking from like a marriage perspective, I don't care what it is, and I don't care how angry or upset somebody thinks I'm going to get, or vice versa. I think you have to be honest with each other,
Mm-hmm.
because if, like, nobody else should ever be able to come and tell you something about your spouse that you didn't already know.
Facts,
Absolutely.
Like, I'm
facts.
gonna tell
Don't let me get in
you,
between.
Tanya Berry try to be nice and sweet to everybody, but you know certain buttons you can push, and you'll be like, don't do that.
Right.
If it's supposed to be me and you against the world, don't let nobody catch me like that,
Right.
because that's not gonna be pretty.
I think, like you said, it's definitely the delivery.
Absolutely.
I do think that sometimes our opinions don't necessarily need to be spoken. It could be true facts, but sometimes, like, it's two sides to that to me. Not saying that I'm lying or
No,
anything
you
like
very
that.
outspoken.
I am. I can be. That's the truth. But I'm learning to not say everything.
Yes.
Not everything is meant to be said. But one thing I am strong with is don't ask a question you don't
That's
want.
what I was gonna say. I was gonna say
Because
there's
I
a
will give,
difference.
if you ask me the question, I will say it. I will. And if you're my closest friend, like you said, don't let me get caught off. I have been known to say stuff to my friends because if things aren't the way I know my friend would want to be perceived, I will say it. Now, granted, I need to soften my delivery sometimes and it's not intentional that I may come off abrupt, but I'm working on that. God isn't finished with me yet. But I do protect my friends. I love my friends and family, and if it's something that needs to be said that is to the betterment of them, I can say it. Sometimes I might even lighten it in like a soft joke or something, and some other people may take it offensively, but it's my way of sharing with my friends, and you kind of balance that with the person you know who you're delivering it to. You need to know how the person reacts to the honesty. Not everything can be boldly spoken. Some things. What was you going to say, Tanya?
I was just gonna say, like, I do think, like I said, I do believe you should be honest in every situation. So, like, for example, my daughter would always ask me, like, she might buy some new gym shoes. I'm not a gym shoe person. I wear gym shoes to the gym. That's it. So I don't necessarily like them. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. It's just not me.
Right.
But I really don't like high top gym shoes. So she would buy these high top gym shoes or something that she liked, and I don't even know if I guess that's what they call it. But and she'd be like, "Oh, look at these shoes," and I'd be like, "Oh, those." I might ask where you get those or something. She'd be like, "Do you like them?" Like, don't probe me. I tried, and I will say, I mean, I'm not a gym shoe person, so don't ask me. If you like them, then
that's what I'm. When
you know
it
what I'm
comes to
saying?
people
Because
liking
I
stuff,
don't think my opinion is not fact.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask my opinion, like, if you're not sure you want it, don't ask. I don't just go around volunteering what I think about somebody else's business. But if you ask me a question, and often if it's the delivery, I don't know how to deliver it in a, with sugar on top, then I'll say, "Are you sure you want to talk about this?" Because you know what I'm saying. So you get a bit of a disclaimer up front.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't. I wouldn't lie to hurt.
Absolutely.
To not hurt someone's feelings, but I would
you're
say,
going to end up hurting them anyway.
Absolutely, because if you, I remember one time. I don't remember how old we were, maybe 18 or so. And Trina and I had gone. We went to some event or we went somewhere. She had this red lipstick on, and now in my head, you gotta look in the mirror when you put your lipstick on, right? I think we went into the bathroom or something at the same time at this place, and she's looking at, and maybe the lighting was different there. I don't know. She was so mad, like, "Why y'all didn't tell me I look like a clown with this lipstick on?" I said, "Listen, I didn't think she looked like a clown. It wasn't messy. It just wasn't the color for her."
Right.
But that was my opinion. She didn't ask me what I thought about her lipstick. So I said, "I assume you looked in the mirror when you put it on. You liked it. Like, you put it on and left the house."
So, but you went. Sometimes we when we look at ourselves,
you can see it,
but not always. You might think, "Oh, this is popping." No, I've had some things.
But you can, if you think it's popping, what I think is irrelevant.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you.
See, and then I would feel like, first of all, I mean that's opinion. So if I didn't ask you what my lipstick looks like, then I
don't say I ain't tell you.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
If you like it,
I didn't ask you exactly. If I didn't ask you, and because I also think, especially like raising a young woman, I feel like don't stifle the person that she wants to be.
Oh yeah,
let her be her.
Absolutely.
So if she put on some pink hair to go somewhere one day and a purple dress and some orange shoes, but she thinks she looks beautiful, if you think you're gonna walk out the house and you got that kind of confidence, well, God bless you and go on and do it.
But if
I thought I didn't like it, if I didn't like the hair, or if I didn't like the lipstick or the outfit, I'm not gonna tell her leaving the house like, "Oh, you look like a clown with this on." That's my opinion.
See, one of my things is
in a mess.
Yeah, I will say something to a certain, like, is that's what you like? And if you say yeah, then I'm like, all right, if that's what you like.
But that's again, I think each person's own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it's almost like, you know how people talk about how their parents are like masters of a guilt trip without like actually saying it. They make you feel guilty. They make little side comments. Like my dad will leave a voicemail. You know, I haven't called him in a few days. If the voicemail is like, "Well, hey baby, it's daddy. I was just checking in on you. Give me a call. I ain't gonna talk long." Now, when have I ever rushed my dad off the phone? But that sounds like I'm mean and I don't have time for him. That's how I feel about, like, if you walking out the door and you think you look nice, someone else's opinion, unless you ask me for it, I'm not gonna say, "I don't like the way that hair looks," because now I may have put something in your head and you wondering, how do other people think that, but you felt good about it before. That's my opinion. That's what I just think is not a part of, that's not being honest about the facts. If I said to you, "Kim, I'm gonna wear this red dress to this event," but then you come here and you like, "Is she colorblind? Because that dress is not red. That dress is a different color." That's different than your opinion of the style of my dress, or you know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like personally, I'm not going to say to you, if I don't like your lipstick, I'm not wearing it.
But people do that almost every day, because there's people ask those type of questions. Is this a good color on me? And you do expect, that's like saying, like, what I hate is when a woman's either her button is open, her zipper is down, her thing is her tag is out. So many people, because that's not my business, will let you walk around like that.
I think that's different.
I'm not going. It may be, but it's the same.
That's
it's like how Trina was like, "Why didn't you tell me that I look like this?" Now she thought it looked good, because sometimes lighting.
True.
But that's what
a whole lot of this. Like I can give you case in point. I went to Matt, got my face done. Right, went to a party. My bishop's one of his anniversaries. I can't remember which one. I took a picture. I look a hot mess, and I was like, "Why didn't you tell me that this is how this?" No. Because I believe true friends ain't gonna let you be jacked up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, but that's
true friendship. Because when you know one another, like I gotta know you. I'm gonna use my mama. I don't necessarily tell my now if she don't look right, I do tell her that. Like if whatever her hair's not right, or and pop, I'll be like, "All right, old man, straighten up, get that walk together." Like I will do those kind of things. But when I know it's something she likes, my question is, what do you think? Do you like it? Because my opinion and what you're saying, and this is where this applies, if it's jacked up, I'm going to say, I don't think that's I don't think that's the look you're looking for.
Well,
However, when either would work and she needs to make the decision, I'll say, Mom, whatever you like. But I won't let my mom be jacked up.
No.
But I will say, whatever you like.
Right.
Well, but again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that if something that like the tag being out or your button undone or something like that, that's fact. It's not my personal opinion on your outfit. I absolutely will say that. I'm not going to let some woman walk around with her tag hanging out or toilet paper hanging from under her skirt or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would absolutely say it in a way that I'm not drawing attention from everybody in the room, but I would say something to that person.
Exactly.
But like with Trina and the lipstick, I didn't like the color, but I didn't think she looked like a clown. So why would I have said, I don't like that color lipstick you got on? I didn't think she looked like a clown. I just didn't like the color. So it's not for me to tell you I don't like something you got on if it's just my opinion. If you said to me you bought a new red lipstick, and
I think it's different if you're saying I just don't like that outfit, or I wouldn't have chose that color versus the person really doesn't like. I know you, and I know you wouldn't want to go out like that. Or you're asking not necessarily.
But some of them do get mad at you for telling the
truth. That's my point.
Well, to me, then we're not friends. If I'm watching out for my girlfriend, and then you get, that's like, here's case in point. How you say you get mad. Now you're in the middle of it. Listen here.
I'm not gonna get mad.
If somebody, I'm out, and me and my girlfriends used to talk about this. What would you do? You see your friend's boyfriend, husband out with another woman. Would you just not say anything?
Well, walk up to them? Walk up to her?
Oh, I will introduce myself, but I'm not saying that. But I am going to let you know. And you might say, oh, no, I know about that. It's blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. But I ain't going to let you go. I mean, that's part of being honest.
Right.
Like, I'll walk up. That's me. And I'll introduce myself. Hey, who's this?
Right, yeah.
I'm not going to be rude or ignorant, but it's something like when me and my girlfriends, we went to go see Girls Trip. We kind of outlined everybody, and I was, of course, Tiffany Haddish, because I'm the one. Like, yeah, I'm be like, so who's this? Hi, I'm Kim. I'm gonna make it known. Like, and then when I see movies or shows where something is going around and they hide, no, I'm going to be all real with you. I think you should know. So, like, when it comes to honesty, I think it's holistically. I am, to the best of my ability, honest. And a lot of times it comes from being honest with yourself, being honest with the relationship, knowing the individual. Like, you can't, if you're not close with somebody, you might want to keep your thoughts to yourself. But if you're sincerely close with someone, I think, even if you would have said, Trina, I don't think that's a good color on you. And Trina was like, girl, I love this color. Like, if she, like, you're
confidence.
But see, again, that goes back to opinion, because she felt like in that one certain light, she thought she looked like a clown. I never thought it looked like a clown. I just wasn't a fan of the color. I didn't think it necessarily looked bad on her.
I didn't think it looked bad. And I was looking at this picture like
a clown. You looked in the mirror, and why you think you look like a clown now?
Well, at the time, lighting means everything. Lighting means everything.
I mean, I guess I agree with being honest in a situation. I think you always have to know your audience, so that your presentation is received well.
And you need to check your presentation when you deliver this honesty.
And not just your presentation, but I think also, because any of us could fall victim to the enemy trying to use us in some way. I think you have to know your audience and also examine your motive for delivering what you're about to deliver. Is this to make that person better? Is it to protect that person? Is
Right,
this
because
to,
you're
you know
not
what
trying
I'm
to be
saying?
hurtful. Yeah,
Absolutely.
never going to be
Absolutely.
hurtful. And that's
Absolutely.
not the honesty that I'm like trying. And I think that's why it's saying, in other words, honesty isn't the best policy all the time.
But see, here's what I struggle with. When is it not the best policy? Is it when that honesty is honestly how you feel or what you think? Or is it the honesty based on the facts, some facts or something? Like if I come to you and say, you know what, honestly, something ain't right with that guy you dating.
That's your
Now,
opinion.
that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I may have the strongest feeling in my heart. Maybe that person made me uncomfortable, but perhaps it was me. Maybe they didn't mean to do that. But it's different than if I saw your person out there somewhere doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm trying to understand, when is it not the best policy? Is it when it's unsolicited advice, or is it because if you ask me a question, it's the best policy for me to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask my opinion on something, or if you ask my thoughts on something, but when is it not the best policy?
But is it always good to say what you're thinking?
No, but that doesn't mean you're not being honest. Just like I said, if you ask me, and I'll be like, do you really want to have this conversation? Because I don't necessarily agree with what you were saying, but so you sure you want to go there? You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest, but I don't have to hit you over the head with my opinion. So I think
some people don't want. Some people don't want the honest truth.
They don't want to hear it. That's how they get mad at you.
And they'll end up getting mad at you. Regardless
because I think because that I have an issue with. Don't ask me a question because you wanted to hear me agree with you. Mm-hmm. Ask me because you wanted to know genuinely what I thought. Because if I don't agree with you, don't get mad. We don't have to think exactly alike.
Right. And also, don't be a mind reader of what you think the person is trying to interpret.
Oh, I hate that. Mm-hmm. Don't think for me. Right. I say exactly what I think and what I think.
So the next question is, do you think it is possible to live with no regrets? Sharita.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I got 50-50 with certain stuff with regrets.
And I think when you know better, you do better, right? So as we grow and learn, you made it. Not necessarily I regret it. I'd made the best choice with the resources and information I had at the time. Ask me later in life, I might have handled it differently if I had known differently. Not necessarily.
But sometimes you can regret hurting someone. You can regret doing something. But what I think is that you cannot allow those regrets to bound you. You can't feel like you're in bondage over the regret. You have to be able to release it. And I think that is the only way you can live with no regrets, like not being controlled or overcome by the mistake. One of the things, we've always heard, mistakes are a opportunity to learn from. Is no mistake. But, sometimes people can overanalyze situations that will then become a regret. And when you overanalyze it, you keep thinking over it. I should have did this. I should have did that. Why did I say this? Why did I say that? You begin to regret the situation. But I think when it comes to Christians, you do have to have peace in the fact that all things work together for good, regardless if it didn't go out your way, regardless if you may have should have did it this way or been better responsible or more on top of your game. You got to understand that there's no regret because of the fact that all things work together for good. And God, your steps are anointed by God. It's for a purpose and a reason. And it's hard I know it's easy to say more than it is to do, but I think that's where, this is only my opinion, as far as regrets, because there's things that you wish you never did, but don't allow those things to bound you, to keep you under it like a rock. You're carrying a boulder. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the way you live with no regret.
And I think that sometimes the questions are meant to spark a conversation.
Absolutely.
Because how we each perceive regret, our response to it, or what, you know what I mean? Just like in what you're saying, because I agree. I think that I don't think none of us are perfect. So I don't think it's possible to not have anything in your life that you wish you had done differently.
Right.
You can be unapologetic about who you are and the choices you made, in that never once did it come from a place of malice. Never once did I try to hurt someone else or do what I thought was wrong or try to get away with, you know what I'm saying? Like you can feel like that, but if I had known better, decisions I made at 16, I didn't make at 26 or 36 or even 46, but I hope and pray that I've gotten wiser and made better choices. So there are things that, I wish, sort of like, man, if I had known at 16 what I knew at 36, probably wouldn't have done some of those stupid things.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? So those kind of regrets. But I agree with you that you can't let it bind you. Like, I can't pay for what I did at 16 at 46 years old. I'm not even that same person. So, if somebody comes to me with some nonsense that happened when I was 16, my apologies. If I hurt you, slighted you, or whatever it is, I'm not, chances are I may not even remember that thing because we was kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So I think we can.
And you can't worry about the things.
Right. Like, I don't want to sound
it.
insensitive, but
at
16, I probably did some stupid stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
Apologies if you're still dealing with it.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I'm not that same person, so I can't. Because I think when you make a decision to, and I guess this is into a different topic, but I always feel like if you make a decision to forgive someone for something, you have to do just that. And part of that is not throwing that back, not bringing that back to them.
Right.
Because you can't continue to pay for something that you no longer do.
This is true. And then it just even going into forgiveness, because I had the replay of that last week, because I thought it was an excellent episode. But forgiveness, like, I feel that over time, and that time can vary, I can definitely forgive you. I just give me the time that I need. However, depending on what transpired, that will dictate how close you are to me.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Like, I think that's where God talks about guard your heart.
Yeah.
Because I can't allow you to keep chipping away from my heart, because then there's nothing left for me.
Yeah.
So if you were able, if I let you in and you threw a dagger that caused so much pain, I'm not going to forever hold that against you, but it will change the relationship. And I'm one that I will be friendly with you. I will exchange pleasantries with you. I will even joke around with you, but you'll never get that close to me to make that imprint again.
Yes,
and I don't know if that would be considered as not letting go, but for me,
it's not, because
it's yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you have to, like,
I'm just learning.
Number one, I think, me and Trina were having this conversation the other day about forgiveness and about repentance, and how you can ask for forgiveness, and so I can make a choice to forgive you, but but that has to come with a changed behavior, right? Like that thing can't keep happening.
Right.
And if it does, it's not me holding a grudge. It's my dad used to say the modified version. If you kick me in the behind every time I bend over, I'm not gonna bend over in your presence. Right? Like, so if whatever this thing is, I feel like this, if you have conversations about what you like, what you don't like, or whatever, and then you can address it, right? If it continues to happen, someone continues to treat you in a way that makes you uncomfortable, makes you sad or unhappy or whatever it is, the Lord's still working on me. Tanya feels like if we talk about it and address it, then it changes, right? Or we talk about some sort of compromise, whatever the case may be. But if it's the same thing over and over and over, either not you can't do anything about it, or you don't want to do anything about it. So then you have to make a decision on which things that you will or will not accept. You know what I mean? And I think that people think, and especially Christians, they try to make you feel like, well, you're supposed to love everybody. I do love it. I love everybody. I'm working on, now I don't like everybody, but I love everybody. I don't want nobody to be hurt. I want everybody to get along. I want us to all travel this road and go to heaven together. Now, that doesn't mean I got to ride in the same car with you on that road. That doesn't mean you got to be in my inner circle or I in yours, for that matter. And I think that's where sometimes there's a disconnect, that people don't understand that forgiveness does not give you an automatic path back into the inner sanctum of my life. Like some people you got to love from a distance.
I was getting ready
to say.
She just said it. Oh, okay. She just said it. I was about to say it. I was about to say that.
But one of my things is, like you said something in a sense of a repetitive thing. Not always am I going to allow the second chance at it. And I know that's probably and it really depends on how hard you take me out. You know what I'm saying? So if you take me, and then that's one of the things, you really injured me if a tear comes.
If you see me crying.
If I'm crying, I'm injured.
Yeah.
You really hurt me.
See, I guess I probably cry from hurt too, but if I get pissed or mad enough, I cry.
That too. Yeah, I do too. But I'm talking specifically at hurt. To hurt me and to cause me to cry, you really got to me. So therefore, there's a feeling of, for me, a betrayal, like you really hurt me. So those type of things, I'm not, like, I will bounce back from it. And I bless God that I have that kind of spirit where I will, again, talk to you. I will, again, be pleasant with you, have conversations with you, the whole nine. But the dynamics of our relationship has forever changed because of that. And I used to pray, like, God, don't allow me to be that way. But then I realized that sometimes it could be even God showing me something. And it took me that much to say, it's time for you to shift. Because not everybody is supposed to be in your circle forever. There's only a small group of people, a very small group of people that is intended to be in your circle forever. So we have to be careful with that. So, but forgiveness, I mean, I think we're all, and it's circumstances too, because I'm sure in a relationship, a marriage, I'm not married, so I don't really know. So y'all can probably speak on it. Sometimes he might say something that could really hurt you and cry, but you ain't going to take that same position, I would imagine, that I would have. And I would hope and pray I wouldn't take that same position when God gives me my husband, which may be just tomorrow. But
that kind of God, okay?
He gonna do it. He gonna do it. Ain't nothing impossible.
You gotta have that kind of faith to believe it, so you be ready for that.
Honey, I'm always willing and ready. Now, I'm always looking on the other side of the door because you never know. I'm always ready.
She's ready.
I'm ready. But so I would imagine like that would be a learning process of counseling and different things. Because I'm a strong promoter of counseling. For me not to carry that into the what I want to say, and the matrimony, into the wedding. Like that's a sanctity that can't be disturbed, and I can't because I can't run away from him. I'm stuck with him, and he's stuck.
And I think too, I always say that, and I think we talked about this before on here, um, that too you have to know that the person that God sent into your life, we're all imperfect, right? So we don't do things the other person doesn't like. But we have to know and believe that this the person you believe God sent. You know he didn't send someone that meant you harm. So even if what they said or did hurt your feelings, it didn't come from a place of them trying to do that. It wasn't purposeful.
Right.
So I think that's where it's kind of like you said about if you angry because your child is having a kid early or young or whatever, but then your grandchild comes and you feel totally different. It's the same thing. You have a different feeling, and there's a different. It's just completely different when it's that one. You know what I'm saying? When it's that person. Because we were laughing about it that like I'm a fiercely independent person, but one day I told Mr. Berry I was going to sleep. It's always cold in here. He's always hot. So I said, aren't you ready to go to bed? And he's looking at me like, why I got to go to bed early? He was like, no. And I said, because it's cold, so I want you to come upstairs and cuddle with me till I fall asleep. Because he's hot.
Selfish.
And I was freezing. So he said, okay, fine. I'm going to come upstairs till you go to sleep. He says, now I'm getting ready to go upstairs. He says, yeah, I'm going to come upstairs then until you go to sleep. Because I said, then you go watch TV, do whatever you want once I'm asleep. He said, well, then I'm going to probably go for a drive. But wait a minute. Where you going without me?
Ray, where you about to go?
He's like, you just said you was going to sleep. Well, that's when I thought you was going downstairs to watch TV.
Right, now I'm going to go with you.
Like a little kid that's going to miss out on something. Where you going without me? No, I'm not sleepy now.
Right.
Wide awake.
I just think it's different. You know what I'm saying? Probably you'd have asked me that 4 or 5 years ago. I'd be like, go wherever you want to go. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go do my own thing too. But it's different.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
What you say?
She said she clingy.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that sometimes.
I wasn't clingy at first. I am now.
Or I'll be fussing about something. He'd be like, you missed me while I was gone all day today. Like, you just bothered me for no reason right now. Sometimes it's like,
must be fun.
I was like, why is your mother like that? And Sharita said, I don't know, but she's your problem now.
I know that's right. I know she be like, you got to deal with her.
Okay.
So, but it is on. I can't believe an hour. It went so fast. It is actually moving into the hour. Any last thoughts, feelings, or expressions? Anything, ladies? Next time you got to talk more. That's my thought and feeling.
I will. It was 2 questions. Or was it 3?
You know what? And I think too would be really great if I'm gonna ask. We'll figure out a time where y'all can both be there and see if Sharita wants to join too.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I think then it would be like to get varying opinions on things because I think we all
and the age difference would be good. Yeah. Because I'm saying for us,
like but you know what? And then think about that though. Like, so here you and I are the same age group, right? But then I'm married and you're not. But then her and Sharita might be closer in age. She's married, Sharita's not. So I think that would be a good dynamic to have.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. We definitely have to plan that. That'd be so sweet. So Sharita, I hope you support your mama and your auntie. So just let us know.
I'm gonna surely tell her too.
So this was great, y'all. I always love I almost feel like it's a fireside chat. You know what I'm saying? Where we just
do that
yeah.
month or something, or every other month or something.
Yeah. Just because just to come together and chit chat and just talk about whatever, it could be like we spoke about the current events. We do our questions, and everyone always loved the questions. Like when we go through the questions randomly, I have so many different things that I use for questions. It always end up being some really good, engaging questions. So definitely, I love these episodes. But always remember, Let's Just Talk with Kim is on every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tell a friend. Make sure you share. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you do all the things. All the things. You can find me at Let's Just Talk with Kim on YouTube, of course. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can halfway find me on Twitter, because the Twitter things, that to me, that's the younger generation. It be moving too fast. It's too much to look at, and I'm trying to be a TikToker.
Gotta get the young kids. I see the young kids. Gotta get the young kids.
So that's how you can find me. How can they find you, Sharita?
On Instagram at Libra_lady at 89. I be on Facebook here and there, but
I know nobody really there, but I do blast the show out there sometimes. What about you, Lady T?
So I am on Facebook. It's just Tanya Berry. On Instagram, it is Meet Mrs. Berry. I don't think I have. Yeah, it's just Meet Mrs. Berry, no number or anything, and it's the same on Twitter.
Okay. So that's where you can find us. That's where you can follow us. That's where you can share with us. And let me tell you, I'm always open to new thoughts, ideas. If you want us to talk about something, just let your girl know. Let us know. Just drop it right down in that comment section. And I promise you, we will definitely have a show for you on that topic. So until next week, bye.
Bye.
Wait.